Hey, what's going on guys, it's Adela here, and today we're going to be doing a full informative gameplay commentary. So some people asked to see basically more guides and more ways on how I played. So I thought I'd do like a gameplay commentary to show you guys basically how I think when I play my game, and different things I look at while I'm playing. So yeah, I decided to choose this game because I was playing versus SINGED420, and this was the first time I play against a known YouTuber, especially one that I watched. So I thought it was just kind of cool. But he wasn't playing Singed. It was kind of weird. He was playing Nasus, and I've never seen him play Nasus before, but I think it's because Nasus just got a pretty decent buff. But I still don't think Nasus is a top laner, but he's definitely better. He's just really tanky when you use his R now. Anyways, I think I'm in a losing matchup. It's Malphite versus Nasus, so late game he should be able to beat me just because I won't do any damage to him. But in the early game, I think I have an advantage. I did, however, I think I had a small advantage just because I know his playstyle. So I know SINGED420 likes to proxy and likes to freeze and basically he likes to fuck the lane. So I actually started with my W, or you can see here that I didn't put in a point yet, but I'm any second now I'll put a point in my W, and I did that because it's the best wave clear and it's the best sustain for your lane because it gives you bonus armor. So I was actually maxing W because I didn't want to fight him anyways unless I got a gank. Just because the rest of the team, it's probably better to gank other lanes than a double tank lane. So yeah, I was basically maxing W and E just so I could push the lane as fast as possible. And he's basically just last hitting. Like, he's not trying to push the lane at all. So I'm just pressuring him. He's doing his little BM thing. But yeah, it's basically just my objective to pressure the lane as much as possible. Make Nunu come up here so the other lanes can win. That's basically all I do as Malphite. If you're playing versus Squishy as Malphite, you can try to build, sort of like AP Nuke. Back in I think season 2, season 3, that was like the best Malphite build. You go Abyssal, Sunfire Cape, and then like Rabadons. You just basically nuke someone down. So yeah, as you can see, like the W max is really good. Like, he just can't fight me because I have my damage is split too. That's another thing. When you max W, the on-hit damage when you activate it is physical, but most of the damage Malphite does is magic, so people won't use armor runes versus him. But yeah. So see, as you can see, I start pushing it under his tower, then he's forced to freeze and take some damage, and then he's like basically gonna miss some farm if he's not queuing every last minion, and then I can just pressure him harder. I think, let's see, yeah, I'm up in CS, and being up in CS as a Malphite is a pretty big deal, because I don't think he's that strong of a top laner right now, unless you directly counter them, or you're just really good at Malphite. But I do like playing him. He's been a favorite pick of mine for a while now. I just think he has sustain problems. Oh yeah, so here, basically, they picked a fight, and they picked out the Jace, but I came down to try and get an assist on the Nunu, but he uses his flash, so it's fine. Then Hecarim decides to steal his jungle, which is really good versus Nunu, because basically all Nunu has going for him is his ability to control the jungle. And I think Nasus really should have pushed here when he saw me going down, because he basically just gives me control of the lane, because I can fight him whenever I want, at least before 6. And when we leave the lane, I mean, he could have pushed it to my tower. I might have missed some minions. And then here, he actually could have escaped without using flash, I think. Because he wouldn't have been as close to the wall if he kept running. But he actually stopped to dance. So, I don't know. Maybe this is just his playstyle. He just loves to be on. So, I decided to back here because it's pushed against his tower. And then he also had to back. So, I'm not too sure. I think he uses a TP here. Yeah, he just used a TP. So we don't need to use our TP because our lane's already pushing. So I just decided to buy a Glacial Shroud because it just gives me more lane sustain basically, because all Malphite does is use a shit ton of mana. So yeah, it really helps you sustain in the lane. And then I started with a Doran's Shield, if you're wondering, just because Corrupting Potion is good, but it basically delays your build, and you don't really want to delay your build as Malphite. You want to get like your core items as soon as possible because he's a very item reliant champion. Like other champions like Wukong don't really need a full build or half build to be able to do damage. Like he'll always do damage, but Malphite needs items pretty much. So yeah, I started Doran's Shield just because Corrupting Potion delays your build, and it gives you good trades, but you don't really want to trade as much with a lane like this. So you can see Nunu's coming in here, and I didn't ward. I wanted to push for 6. So I want to get 6 so I could just ult out if something happened, because the ult is a low cooldown. But I knew both of them didn't have flash, so I just flashed over the wall and I'm fine here. And I think it's decent because Nasus blows his ult and Nunu comes up here. Meanwhile, we get a free dive on bot lane, and it's Infernal Drake, so you know we get Dragon Control after that. But I didn't think he was going to come in from try. But, you know, it's fine. So I get a boot and a pink here. Just because he came in from try and the lane was way pushed in Nasus's favor. So anytime the lane is pushing against your enemy and you can buy a pink, you always should. Because it basically means that you have permanent control of that bush. Even if they're not ganking from there that often, you know that you have vision in that bush. So it basically just gives you more freedom to play around with your trinket wards instead of, you know, putting them somewhere else. So yeah, Nunu is kind of near again, but we have some vision in the river. And at this point, you know, he has 2 levels on me, but I'm actually still winning the lane. Because I know he can't fight me without his ultimate. But he can out-trade me at this point, because he's been stacking his Q and like trying to freeze for a while. But see how when I max W and E, I can just clear the wave really easily. So I just want to make sure I'm giving him a harder lane. Also, I haven't used TP. I probably should have TP'd back just so I didn't fall too far behind on experience. But I didn't TP, and he TP'd once, so he did get more minions than me. So I'm sort of playing a little bit from behind, but I do have my ultimate and everything, so. And here I decide to fight him just because he has no mana, and he has no flash and no ulti. So he just starts like, you know, smacking me, and then my Grasp of the Undying procs, and I kill him with W. And the only reason I actually killed him there was because I activated my W mid-hit. Like, if my W wasn't on, a basic auto attack wouldn't have killed him. So, something some people don't know is that if you activate your W, like, sorry, just something fell. If you activate your W as you're hitting, then the extra damage will proc as your hit goes. There are a lot of abilities like this. I'm trying to think of one that's similar. Okay, so Nunu starts taking Drake here. It's kind of bad because we had Sona mid and she was pushing, and we had no vision in river, so basically gave them a free Drake. I think our bot lane should have went up to ward, but they got a kill, so it's not that big a deal. Yeah. So here I'm pretty much ahead of him, but it's Nasus, you know, from behind. He you know, he just farms and he does damage without items basically. So he hasn't really bought tank yet. Oh, I forgot to mention, he started Dark Seal and Refillable Potion, which is decent for Nasus, but he's actually, I think he was E-maxing. Like if I go over him, or sorry, he wasn't E-maxing. He's Q-maxing. And the best way to play Nasus right now is actually E-maxing, because you can push the lane really far and you can harass so much if you have like Corrupting Potion. And here he pulls the classic SINGED420 proxy, but since I have so much wave clear with my W and E, I just take care of the wave instantly. And that's really important because Malphite is a terrible farmer under tower. It's like one of the worst top lane farmers under tower. And yeah, it makes it so he can't proxy, which is really good for us because he's really good at proxying. However, he doesn't have ghost, so he can't escape as well. But oh, I bought a tabby, by the way, just so his Q damage is lower, and it allows me, like, you can tell immediately that I'm able to fight him more. But yeah, as I was talking about, the Emax I think is way better on Nasus, especially versus Malphite. Like, I have how much magic resist right here. You know, I can't actually see, but I have no magic resist items. And I had magic resist per scaling runes, which aren't better until level 9, I think. So Emax does a lot of damage, and it also gives you that armor pen, so you can shred them. So it's really good versus Malphite. And versus other people, it just allows you to push the lane, because Nasus, it's sort of hard to push until you have a lot of CDR and a lot of Q stacks. So it allows you to push the lane. And here, Hecarim and Nunu start fighting. I don't think it's that good of a fight for us. But I start heading down because I see he's going to die from the Nunu permaslow. And then I go in to stop him. I still have my ult here, but I'm saving it until he can get away, because I know I'm in trouble here too. So then I basically have to ult out, because we can't fight a Nasus Nunu, like Wither and... Oh yeah, Sona came in here. The Wither and the Ice Blast are both movement speed and attack speed slows, and they're both two of the biggest slows in the game. So like, having both of them on you, there's no escape. So I had to save my R to escape, but I also had to Q the Nasus to help the Hecarim to escape. And I don't level up Q that much in lane, just because ever since they increased the mana cost, I think I don't know, a long time ago, I read it in the patch notes, I think it was season 3, the mana to damage ratio hasn't been effective enough for you to spam it in lane unless you already have like a Frozen Heart and a Corrupting Push and basically unlimited mana sustain. It's a good move because it has decent range, it's a slow, and it does okay damage, but it costs like, I don't know, 100 mana I think at max rank to do 200 damage before, you know, magic resist and everything. You just, like, my mana pool right now is 800, you know, 8 Qs, I'm and his mana costs are pretty high. So I usually don't max, especially versus Nasus. Like, he has built-in 20% lifesteal. If I'm harassing him with Q, like, I'm gonna go lose the lane super quickly. So I just decided to opt for a tanky build and just wave clear, because I know, like, this isn't gonna be a kill lane where we're constantly killing each other. I kind of messed up there by not Eing those 2 CS, but I wanted to save it for this wave so I could push. It's not that big a deal. I'm down like 10 CS right here, just because it was pushing a little bit, and I still haven't used my TP. So one problem I'll admit I have on playing tanky top laners especially is I hold my TP. Oh, you can see he does like no damage now because I got a chain vest. I hold my TP for way too long. So basically, if you're not using your TP, you should be using it to... Oh, we get a kill here? If you're not using your TP to initiate team fights and the other person isn't either, then you should be using it just to get back to lane to get a CS and XP advantage. So after I burned his flash and stuff and he went back without a TP, I should have just TP'd back to lane just to push on the tower. But, you know, anyways, we try to get some damage on the tower here to get the First Blood tower. First Blood tower in top lane is really good because you get the solo gold. And it's like, what? It's like 500 or 600 gold. It's ridiculous. So Hecarim wants to take his blue, but I ping him the tower because it's more important. And I didn't get the solo gold. It split between the both of us, but it's what? It's 388 gold between us, which is a lot. So now I'm able to buy... Oh, I actually start recalling, but then I see something going down bottom, so I TP. And basically I can't really do anything because I don't have my ult, but I wanted to trap the Nunu and the Alistar. And then Jace is here, but we can't really do anything about it. But yeah, I think it's still a good TP, even if you don't have your things, just to give presence, because as soon as they saw me, like, they had to start recalling, because it was a Sona. Like, they probably could have turned on her and killed her. And the Ezreal was pretty low, so we actually got 2 for 0 there. And yeah, I saved my TP like way too long. Like I saved it for a long time, and the time I used it wasn't super impactful on the game. So that's something I really have to improve on, is, you know, knowing when to TP instead of just holding it for when the other person uses it. Like, I just think you can outplay way harder if you're smarter with your TPs. So here, he's using Iceborne Gauntlet. So if you can see, I'm actually going to rewind it a tiny bit. So, alright. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to speed it up. I can see that he bought an Iceborne Gauntlet. So basically what I do is I stand next to the tower so that the AoE damage hits me and it pokes him off the tower. Because I knew Nunu was coming, so I want to clear the wave as fast as possible. So now they can't die me. The Nunu's basically just wasting his time up here, taking XP. Yeah, so it allows me to defend the tower, but Jace is coming up, and Alistar too, which is really... I ulted in here, which was a really, really bad call. It would have been okay, I think, if the Alistar didn't come up, but it would have been just because I burnt... In the end, I ended up burning my ult and flash, so, I mean, if you think about it, it's really, really not worth it. I mean, we got bot tower, but they also got a kill, they got my ult, and they got my flash, and they got 3 assists. So if I had just ulted out and flashed out, you know, there's no way they're going to catch me if I can, you know, make that much distance. But I didn't, so. Yeah, one thing I'd say about Malphite is never be afraid to use his ult to escape, just because the cooldown isn't that long compared to flash, and the range is huge, so most of the times when you ult, you're gonna get away. What's going on bot? Okay, yeah, our bot lane was pretty fed. The Ezreal was 3-1 and 8. I'm actually not a big fan of Triforce Ezreal, but if you're ahead, it's like, why not? You pretty much have to land every Q, but also Nasa's TP's here, which is like really shitty for him because they don't really get to do much. So Ez just grabs the lantern and they just, you know, he has no TP now. So now my TP is on a shorter cooldown than his, and I'm allowed to push the lane pretty fast. I basically want to get a Sunfire first, just so I can actually do damage, so in case Nasus tries to spar me, I have a lot of armor, so he won't kill me, but I also have a Sunfire, so I can do a decent amount of damage. Sunfire early also helps you CS really well, because it does a lot of damage to minions. It ticks for like 60. So you can actually last hit with Sunfire. So I can see that they're coming for me now, and if I had gotten closer to the wall, it probably could have ulted away. But yeah, I was overextending by a lot. I was basically playing way too greedy, and then, you know, at this point in the game, I noticed, okay, they're gonna keep coming top and like gangbanging me, but at least we get some pressure on mid. What I should have done here actually is buy a blue ward so I can get deep wards in their jungle, and then every time I see someone I can just leave instead of having to burn my ult to escape or just dying. But I kept the yellow ward because it's also good when you're ahead to get wards in the jungle. But yeah. But at this point in the game, we're pretty far ahead. I mean, my lane was sort of won, but you know, my tower ended up falling because 3 people came. I'd say it was kind of even actually. I think it's just the nature of the matchup. It doesn't come down to skill or anything. But yeah, our Hecarim was popping off, and then here's a team fight. So I decide to go in and ult right here. So I get a 3-man ult, and then off that, Nunu and Alistar die. And then I think Sona just should have kept running. She stuck around a little bit. But yeah, Singed is here. And then I just finish him off, and we get a ace. It was a 2-for-1 ace. So I think that fight really like turned the game around. I mean, sorry, not turned the game around. We were winning the whole time. It sealed the deal. Yeah. So we're allowed to get some damage on mid tower off that. And I think, yeah, we both have 1 Infernal Drake, so we were just waiting for the next Drake timer. And then what we also want to do is try to go for an early Baron, just because basically anytime there's a Nunu on the other team, he's gonna try and go for like a 20-minute Baron, especially with this team comp. Like, they have a very high DPS team with Nasus and Jace. So yeah, we want to basically pressure Baron just so they can't get a free Baron. Just because Nunu is really, really good at soloing Baron. I mean, not soloing, but doing it early. Anyways, I come top with Ezreal just to like sort of peel Nasus and just so we can get the damage on the turret. I think Ez shouldn't have poked him. I think he just should have like kept DPSing the turret. Could have got more damage on it. Just because it's kind of pointless to kill Nasus at this point. I mean, he has only 2 items, and they're not big items, so it's not that big a deal. But yeah, Ez is pretty strong. But he dies here just because... Actually, I don't know how he died. I don't know why he didn't E sooner, or like if it was on cooldown, but yeah, I could have escaped. I had ulti and flash, but I sort of just hung around with him. So at this point, it's like, it's the typical League of Legends game. We're ahead and we're throwing for no reason. So you guys probably know all about that. I'm sure everyone does. So Sona burns her flash here, but she's fine. She has her ulti. She's actually AP Sona, so she can do a decent amount of damage. Singed TP's in. It was a good TP by him. Sona lands a 3-man ult. That's really good. I think if that ult didn't land, we would have been in a lot of trouble. Anyways, I TP behind them right now, and I have my ulti up because I didn't use it before. And then I flash and get a 4-man ult, and this basically wins us the game because I think we get a clean ace here. Yeah, we get a clean ace, and we're allowed to, you know, push to end off that basically, or at least get an inhib and a Baron. The reason I flash ultied there, like, I was in ulti range basically. I could have like tried to get all 4 without using my flash. The reason I flashed is because I didn't want to give them as much time to react to be able to split apart, because they didn't see my TP because it was way far away. It was you know, right here behind the mid lane sort of wall, and they didn't know I was coming. So, but like as soon as people see Malphite, you know, they're all gonna split out. But I just flashed just to secure the ultimate because I knew it was a big play for us in the game. And then yeah, they are. Oh, also they're basically all AD. So like this is a good game to play Malphite. Even if you don't win lane, even if you don't stomp, even if you're losing, Malphite is so good in these types of games, just because it's a tank meta, and like sorry. Yeah, he's so good in these types of games because it's a tank meta, and he gains damage off his armor. So, you know, it's a win-win. And he can also, it's also a meta where armor or flat armor penetration is really popular and really like overpowered. So flat armor penetration basically useless against Nasus unless you have like a Black Cleaver or Lord Dominic's, just because of the way armor stacks. But yeah, we're able to get this tower. I thought I was dead here. I still have my ulti. I hold it just because Jace is dead. Then I use it here to get Jace after his flash. So at this point in the game, we have Baron. Their mid carry is dead. Nasus is top lane. You know, we're just snowballing out of control right now. Hecarim is on MF with no peel. So yeah, at this point the game is pretty much done. Yeah, anytime you see 5 AD in Champ Select, you should always dodge. It's way too easy to build against 5 AD in this meta. It's like, in this tank meta, you can, ever since the Ninja Tabby buff actually, it was huge. Like, especially if they have like a Graves and then some other auto attack based AD carry, like Ninja Tabby just absolutely destroys their damage. It's such a huge damage reduction. So at this point in the game, I'm able to take no damage and just sit there and be a tank. And yeah, that's the first game I played against a YouTuber. I think I could have played much better in lane, but all in all, it was about a pretty even lane. I just think we won based on our team comp. We had a really good team fight, and I think Sona mid is actually really, really strong. Like Pants says, she's pretty broken. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like this type of video, let me know so I can make more in the future. If you want like a live game commentary or something, let me know. I just want to make the type of videos that you guys enjoy. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching. This is Adela, and I'll see you in the next video.
Let's be friends forever.
Dude, diddly donger cookerino!